Chapter 11 review. So you should have that out in front of you so we can go over it. Okay. So the first thing it says is 12 students were asked how many people live in their household. Their answers are shown in the table below. We're going to make a dot plot of this data. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can go from 1 to 10 if you want to. I don't care. All right, and we're going to put our dots. We've got 3 on 4. We've got 4 on 5. Oh, my pen is dying. We've got 2 on 6. We've got 1 on 8, 1 on 9, and 1 on 10. Okay? And then we calculate the median. You can line these all up from smallest to biggest. You can cross them off on here, whichever way you want, but your median value is 5. Your mean, we add them all up, divide by how many there are, we get 5.9.
I got 6.
5.9 is what I get. Okay. How many students had households with more than the mean? 5. How many students had less than the mean? 7. Which is why we don't want to round, because it would change his answers. Shape of the data, it is skewed to the right.
Miss Murphy, quick question.
Yeah.
So, for the mean, you have 5.9. I have 5.92. Is that acceptable?
That's fine.
Okay.
Can it be 6?
No.
I shouldn't round up.
It can't be 6.
It can't, one more time, it cannot be 6. It would change these answers. It cannot be 6. All right, the mean is greater than the median. So if it's skewed to the right, the mean is bigger than the median. All right, we are going to make a box plot of this information.
Are you sure
So-
it was yes or actually when you said it was less than?
No, I didn't. I said if it was skewed to the left, it was less. Okay, so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have skipped some. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, right? The minimum value is 4. My maximum value is 16. My first quartile is on 7. My median is 10. My third quartile is 13. So that is my box. Okay? The IQR, so that is the third minus the first, is 6. And my mean, when I add them all up, divided by how many there are, I get 10. What is the shape of this data? It is symmetric. And how do I know it's symmetric? Because the mean is equal to the median. I'm going to ask you guys one more time to be quiet, and then I'm going to ask you to leave. If you have a question, please ask it, but no more whispering or side conversation.
Wait, how do
I'm recording and going over the review. Yes, ma'am.
if it was skewed right or something like that, how would you know with the box plot?
What the mean and median were. So if it was skewed to the right, the mean would be greater than the median. If it was skewed to the left, the mean would be less than the median. If they're equal, it's symmetric.
Got it.
Okay. Next page. This is nice because it gives us the ranges. We don't have to pick them. So 1 to 2 years, I have 3 of those. 3 to 4 years, I have 2. 5 to 6, I have 1. 7 to 8, I have 2, and I have 8 for 9 to 10. Okay. So 1 to 2 years, I have 3. 3 to 4 years, I have 2. 5 to 6 years, I have 1. 7 to 8 years, I have 2. And then I don't even have enough. I'm going to draw 2 more in here. There we go. I have 8 from 9 to 10. Who has the most? Between 9 and 10. What is the shape of this data? It's skewed to the left. How does the mean compare to the median? The mean is less than the median. Does your histogram show the maximum or minimum data points?
No.
No, why? It shows the frequency only. Okay. All right, this is where I got the most questions when I was going over this. Kevin, put your phone down. Rocco, you don't even have your review out in front of you. What is going on, people? We have a test tomorrow. Let's focus. Okay, we have our normal distribution. Remember, we have our mean in the middle, 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, and 3 standard deviations, right? It's got that normal distribution. Okay? All right, right here is my mean, it's 2. My standard deviation is 0.65, so I'm going to go 2 plus 0.65, that's 1. And then 2.65 plus 0.65 gives me my second standard deviation. And then my third standard deviation, 3.95.
Do we have to go all the way to the third one?
Okay? And then I'm going backwards. So 2 minus 6.5 gives me 1 standard deviation. Then take 0.65 away from that gives me 2 standard deviations. Then take 0.65 away from that, and I get 3 standard deviations. Okay. Would 1.8 fall between 1 standard deviation?
Yes.
Would a 4.0 stand between 1 standard deviation? Rocco, get out your red cube. No, what's B again? Okay, see how where 1.8 is? Is 1.8 between 1.35 and 2.65? 1.8 fall between it, then that's why the answer is yes. Standard deviation goes on either side. So as long as it's in this middle part here, we're good. All right, turning it over.
You know the little symbols for when you put it in the calculator? Will those also be on the test? Like, oh, okay.
Okay. The students in 4th hour were also asked how many different schools they had attended so far in their lives. Make a dot plot of the data, then answer the questions. Okay, so we have 1 at 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 4. We have 1 at 5. We have 2 at 6. We have 1 at 7. And we have 1 at 10. So the range is
8.
good. And we took the biggest one minus the smallest one. The shape of the data is skewed to the mean is, I get 5.09 or 5.1 is fine. The median is, so the mean greater than the median. And what's the standard deviation? 2.02. Okay.
It doesn't have to be 2.02. So if you can't round it, see, that's something that somebody get wrong.
Just write it, just don't round anything. Put it down. All right, number 6. How are we doing with that? We're okay? Yes. Sure? You can ask me right now. I bet other people have this question. How to get the standard deviation and everything? This is a good question. So, guys, I'm going to open a list. So we go to the first page right here. We hit 1. We hit 4, and we get a list. And then let's enter this. I'm going to make it go up to A and hit X. Skip the gray line, right? I hit 4, 6, 10, 4, 2, 5, 4, 4, 6, 7, 4. Okay? And then if you hit menu, statistics, stat calculation, 1 variable, okay, okay. It gives you right there, and it gives you everything you need. You've got the mean, 5.09. You've got the standard deviation, the little cursive O, 2.02. Okay, you've got all your stuff right there.
Which one's the range again?
Range isn't on there. Range, you just subtract the biggest from the smallest. Okay, let's look at calculating the standard deviation. What was the range for A?
4.
4. 4 minus 0 is 4. What's the mean? What's the shape of the data? Okay.
Wait, wouldn't the range be
Oh, because it's minus 0. 4 minus 0. Okay, so what is the mean for everything?
2.
Okay, 4 minus 2 is?
2.
1 minus 2 is?
1.
2 minus 2 is?
0.
2 minus 2 is? 3 minus 2 is? 2 minus 2 is? 0 minus 2 is? Okay. 2 squared is?
4.
Negative 1 squared is?
1.
0 squared is? 0 squared is? 1 squared is? 0 squared is? Negative 2 squared is? Okay, don't forget, if you put those in your calculator wrong, it's going to give you a negative answer. You shouldn't have any negatives. 4 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4 gives us?
10.
How many are there?
7.
So this goes 10 over 7. The square root of 10 over 7 gives us? 1.2 or 1.195, whichever you want to put. If you put 1.2, you're good. It's fine. Either way. Okay, which ones of these would fall within one standard deviation of the mean? 1. Okay, so first we go. The mean is 2. So 2 plus 1.2 is 3.2. And 2 minus 1.2 is, what is it? 2 minus 1.2 is 0.8. So between 0.8 and 3.2, that's one standard deviation. Shh.
I thought it was the other way around.
No.
Where you say 20.
You take the mean. So you know how you do the whole normal distribution thing? Here's 2. I have to go one standard deviation. So I have to add the standard deviation to it and subtract the standard deviation from it. Okay? So my answer can be 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, let's go to 7. Frequency table. I like frequency tables. They're fun. Okay, how many males were there total?
So 47.
How many females were there total?
53.
How many people preferred math?
54.
How many people preferred ELA?
46.
How many were there total?
100.
How many students responded?
100.
How many females preferred ELA?
23.
How many females preferred math?
34.
What percent of all students preferred ELA?
46.
And how did you know that? You went 46 over 100, right? 46%. How many males preferred math?
41.
Oh, we got some different answers. Okay.
51.
How many males are there?
44%.
Wait, whoa, stop. How many males total are there?
47.
No.
Yes.
You're right. 47. How many of those 47 preferred math?
24.
So 24 over 47 is?
44.
What? You
I
guys,
got 44%.
24 divided by 47 is 51%.
Did I not?
I don't know
Okay.
what that answer was.
Overall, do students prefer math or ELA?
Math.
Good. Just like good kids that you are, you should. Okay.
Okay, I got 54.
All right.
Oh.
All right. A school has 2 music class choices, band and choir, kind of like us. Out of the 66 students in band, 36 are males. There are 12 males and 42 females in choir. No students were allowed to sign up for both classes. Conduct a 2-way frequency table for the data and answer the questions. So I'm going to put band here, choir here, Males here, females here. Does it matter?
And I don't know.
We have totals. Okay. It said of the 66 students in band, so under band, the total should be 66. 36 are male, so how many are female? Choir, we have 12 males and 42 females, so how many altogether?
54.
How many males altogether?
48.
How many females altogether?
72.
How many total?
120.
How many students were taking music at school?
120.
120.
Oh.
What percent of the music students chose band?
55.
And we did this because we did band, 66, over 120 gives us 55%. What percent of the band was male?
55.
We do 36 over 66 gives us 55%. Yes. I rounded up. What percent of the choir was female? So we're going to go 42 over 54, right? 77.
I round 78.
Of the male students, what percent chose band?
75.
So if we took male students, that's total of 48. We're going to go 36 over 48 gives us 75%. Were more female students in band or choir?
Choir.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes, Grace.
Alright,
Where are we?
so, well, this, because we rounded all the numbers 3 different ways.
Okay, we round all numbers the same way in math forever and ever. So if we get 0.558, it would be 56, right? Let's zoom in on this. If the number, if we get 0.56 and I say round to the nearest tenth, it would be 0.6, right?
Right.
That's how we round everything in the whole universe.
Well,
Forever and ever. We look at the number before where we're supposed to round. If it's 5 or greater, we round up. If it's below 5, we round it. Like, watch. 0.54 would be 0.5, right? That's how we round. That's how we've rounded all year. It's the only way we round.
Well, let me
Okay, Grace.
we rounded to the hundreds.
Okay. So, if you round to the tenths, you're fine. You do not need to round to the hundredths. If you're rounding to doing a percent, you round to the nearest whole number. Percents to the nearest whole number, everything else can be rounded to the nearest tenth. Yes?
So for the back, you said it was 77. Couldn't it be 78 because it's 0.77, so there's going to be 8.
Okay, so we're looking at which number?
77.
What percent of the choir was female? So the total choir is 54. Females 42. So 42 divided by 54 gives me, it should be 78. You are correct. Any others? Yes, Grace.
The mean to mean I got everyone wrong, so we can get
You got which one wrong?
whatever it asks me, probably.
Okay, so look, for all of these though, guys, you have the mean and the median, right? The mean is bigger than the median. You have the mean and the median. They're equal.
Oh,
Yeah, you do. You have it for both of these. Look, this is the median. This is the mean. Okay? So right here, mean is bigger. We know it's skewed to the left, so we know that the median has to be bigger. Skewed to the left, median bigger. Skewed to the right, mean bigger. Symmetric, same. Yes.
So for 5, you said the mean is 5.9.
Yeah, or 5.1 you could put.
Oh,
You want to round to the nearest.
And then, yeah.
There you go. Yes. Almost exactly the same as the review. Yes.
Alright, well,
Number 6. Okay.
how do you know without
I graphed it. Yeah.
I think it's
So if it's in the dot plot, you should just be able to see that it's symmetric. Put it in again in your calculator. Well, it's quicker in the calculator, but even if you did it by hand, you should be able to see that it's symmetric. Others? Question? Yes.
So for like percents or like decimals, if we're like 100 or just 10, like say like we do put 5.1 instead of 5.09, is that acceptable? Or like a percent, we do 77 instead of 78. Is that
So
fine?
your percents, you should round to the nearest percent. They will be marked off if they're not. 5.09 versus 5.1, I don't care.
Okay.
Do not round to the nearest whole number for anything except percent. And I'll try and remind you of that tomorrow as well.
Wait, so if it was like, okay, yeah.
You're good? Okay, so let's think about what we have here. We can make a dot plot, a histogram, and a box plot. Okay? And we can find the mean, median, whether it's symmetric, skewed, for all of them. Okay? We can make a normal distribution. This was the most common question I got when people came in for help. Should be able to do that normal distribution when you have the mean and standard deviation. We were able to find the standard deviation in the calculator or by hand. Okay. And we were able to fill out frequency tables and answer questions on the frequency tables. Yes? Yes.
For one, you wanna round up to that too, 6?
We already talked about this. No.
Okay.
Everything has to be one decimal place unless it's a percentage.
So the only time round up to whole number is percentage. Okay.
Any others? Yeah.
What percent of males prefer math? And then we got 51.
Yeah.
A lot of people got 44. Why?
I don't know. You got to read the question carefully. It says, what percent of males, so I can only go under males. Okay, so I have to use the total as 47. And then math is 24. My thought is they put the wrong thing on the bottom. Okay? You put the total of people in math instead of males. Better? Okay. Any others? When is the test? When is the last day you can turn in late work or missing work?
Friday.
Working on our review for the. When are we getting the review, guys?